Are you bored of constantly course? Did you know that the average time it takes for a hacker to breach a network is just under 15 minutes? And also, did you know that nearly 60% of small businesses go out of business within 6 months of a major cyber attack? This means that securing your network is not just an IT concern. It's crucial for business survival. This highlights just how critical it is to stay ahead in the world of network security. That is why I welcome you to this comprehensive course on network hacking and network security, where we will learn various attacks and techniques that will compromise a network device or that will compromise the entire network. We will mainly target devices which can be found in any network nowadays, devices that actually allow networks to exist. And yes, I'm talking about routers, switches, DNS servers, DHCP servers, and others. And before we even start, I want to mention one thing. This course is not for someone who is a complete beginner. It will require some basic background knowledge in programming and networking. But don't worry, we will provide resources which you can follow to revise your programming and networking knowledge if needed. I will also have my own networking videos as a bonus section in this course, which will teach you about the necessary network components and protocols. Now, you might be asking, okay, it makes sense that networking knowledge is required, but why programming? Aren't we just going to run some tools to perform network hacking? Now, while that is true, and we are going to use a bunch of already pre-made tools, we're also going to code our own tools in Python in order to fully understand how certain attacks work in details. It's crucial to understand that if you want to become good at hacking, programming is something that you should learn along the way. So programming will eventually become necessary if you're serious about hacking. Now, besides using other people's tools to hack and making our own tools in Python, we're also going to have a project where we will exploit an application over the network. Now, this specific project will be a little more difficult and a little more advanced, as it will require some C programming knowledge and assembly knowledge. But don't worry, I will try to explain it step by step so you can understand everything. The goal of this project will be to end up with an exploit code that we wrote in Python, which will grant us access to the target machine over the network. But as you will see, this will not be that easy. Alright, but what else? We mentioned we will cover a bunch of techniques and attacks used to compromise or hack the network. We mentioned that we will target routers, switches, DNS servers, DHCP servers, and other network clients and network applications. But besides all of this, at the end of the course, We will also cover tools that we can use to protect ourselves against these attacks. We will look through intrusion detection and intrusion prevention systems, such as Snort, and you will learn some cool things like writing your own IDS and IPS rules. We will also check default security settings of routers and switches, and for some attacks, we will even code our own tools in Python which will detect or protect against these attacks. See you in the next lecture. We already know that course will cover various inner network attacks, targeting main network components, meaning routers, DNS servers, switches, DHCP servers, and also network clients and network applications, but we will start in a way that will gradually increase in difficulty. This means we will start off with something simple, like running a denial of service program or using different MAC spoofing tools to bypass router's MAC address blacklist and enter the network. From there, the attacks will gradually increase all the way to the last project, which will be us manually exploiting a small network application over the network with writing our own exploit code in Python and using GDB debugger and assembly language to reverse engineer the vulnerable application. Our end goal for that project will be to run a reverse shell over the network, and we want to execute all of that by running our own exploit code that we wrote. But don't worry, between the first attacks and the last project, there will be a bunch of other attacks and programs that we will write which you will find quite interesting. Each attack will start off with explaining the attack in theory, its dangers, its limitations, and its prevention. And then we will demonstrate it with various different tools, including our own tools. And that's not all. After we cover all of the attacks and the last project, then we will turn to defending our network. This means setting up proper router security settings, writing IDS and IPS rules, and checking out firewall rules in the network. This course, however, is mainly focused on hacking, and the network security and defending section you can view as somewhat of a bonus section. Nonetheless, that's all I wanted to mention before we start, so let us not waste any more time and let's get straight into hacking. See you in the next section. Hello everyone and welcome to this bite-sized course on networking. Now, in this course, we will be focusing on basics of networking, and we will try to explain things such as why is networking important and how does a simple network work. Also, we will talk about what different types of networks are there and all the general things about networking. So by the end of this mini course, you should know exactly how a simple network functions. Okay, but let us start from the very basics, and that would be to define what even is networking. Well, networking, simply put, is the practice of connecting multiple devices or computers to share information and resources. It is like building a digital highway that allows data to flow seamlessly from one point to another. Now, before computers were connected, you could only perform tasks on one machine, and if you needed to transfer something to a different machine, you would need to physically take the data on a disk or a drive and walk to the other machine to import that data. Networking solved that, as now we can transfer and share data to the other side of the world in a matter of seconds. Now that we know the definition of networking, let's explore why is it so important. Well, there are many reasons why networking is important and why it changed the world as much as it did. First reason we already mentioned, and that is global connectivity. Networking connects people and businesses around the world, fostering global communication and collaboration. It allows us to send emails, make video calls, and share information with anyone, anywhere. It also provides efficiency and productivity, since in the business world, networking enhances efficiency by enabling employees to access shared resources and data. This also boosts productivity and streamlines operations. Now, another benefit of networking is information sharing. Information sharing was revolutionized with introduction of networking. Social networking platforms and websites have changed the way we share information, ideas, and experiences with global audience. Networking also had an economic impact since networking has become an integral part of the global economy. We have e-commerce, online banking, and digital transactions which all rely on secure networks. And let us not forget the innovation. Networking fuels technological innovation. It's the foundation of the Internet of Things, smart homes, and, for example, autonomous vehicles. So we can say that, in conclusion, networking is the backbone of our digital age. It connects us, empowers us, and fuels innovation. So whether you're sending an email, browsing social media, or streaming a movie, remember that networking is the invisible force that keeps our interconnected world running smoothly. Alright, now that we know the definition of networking and why networking is important in today's world, it is time to shift our focus to the technical sides of networking. So we will start off by discussing what different types of networks are there. Okay, let us start with something simple. We mentioned in the last lecture what exactly networking is and why it is important, as well as what impact it had in the last decades, but now let us get more technical and discuss what different types of networks are there. So there are several types that I want you to remember and that you will hear a lot about. Here are the four main ones. We have PAN, LAN, MAN, and WAN. Now, PAN is short for Personal Area Network. LAN is short for Local Area Network. MAN is short for Metropolitan Area Network. And WAN is short for Wide Area Network. So let's start by discussing what PAN is. So PAN, or Personal Area Network, is the most basic type of computer network. A personal area network connects electronic devices within a user's immediate area. The size of a PAN ranges from a few centimeters to a few meters. One of the most common real-world examples of PAN is the connection between a Bluetooth earpiece and a smartphone. PANs can also connect laptops, tablets, printers, keyboards, and other computerized devices. Now, PAN network connections can either be wired or wireless. Wired connections methods include USB and FireWire, while wireless connection methods include Bluetooth, which is the most common, but also Wi-Fi, IRDA, and Zigbee. The next one that we want to know about, which is the one that you will mostly encounter and hear about, and that is LAN, or Local Area Network. A local area network is a collection of devices connected together in one physical location, such as a building, an office, or home. A LAN can be small or large, ranging from a home network with one user to an enterprise network with thousands of users and devices in an office or school. Usually the distance that it covers can be anything from several meters up to 2 kilometers. Now, regardless of size, a LAN's single defining characteristic is that it connects devices that are in a single limited area. In general, there are two types of LANs, which are client-server LANs and peer-to-peer LANs. Examples of LAN are networking in a home, school, library, laboratory, college, office, and so on. Now, besides LAN, we also have something that you won't hear that often about, and that is Metropolitan Area Network. Now, a MAN is larger than Local Area Network, but smaller than a Wide Area Network. This is the type of computer network that connects computers over a geographical distance through a shared communication path over a city, a town, or metropolitan area. This network mainly uses FDDI or CDDI and ATM as the technology, with a range from 5 kilometers to 50 kilometers. Its transmission speed is average, and it is difficult to maintain, and it also comes with a pretty high cost. And lastly, we have WAN, or Wide Area Network. Now, a wide area network is a larger network of information that is not tied to a single location. WANs can facilitate communication, the sharing of information, and much more between devices from around the world through something called a WAN provider. WANs can be vital for international businesses, but they're also essential for everyday use, as the internet is considered the largest WAN in the world. If wide area connections didn't exist, organizations would be isolated to restricted areas or specific geographic regions. Local area networks would allow organizations to work within their building, but growth to outside areas, either different cities or different countries, would not be possible. It is important to mention that WANs are very difficult to maintain. Okay, now these would be some common types of networks that you will hear about, as well as their basic characteristics. Besides these, you will also hear about VLANs or wireless local area network, storage area network or SAN, and virtual private network or VPN, but the ones that we mentioned in this video are the ones that you should definitely remember. Okay, now that we mentioned most common types of networks, let us discuss further and in more details about local area network and wide area network in the next lecture.